So MSNBC is once again lying about the diversity of support in Bernie Sanders' base, or as I call it, Monday. So this is just a retired, stale myth at this point, the idea that Bernie Sanders' support is just straight white males, the Bernie bro, it's just the bros, it's just the guys that support Sanders because, it's such a bro-y thing to want healthcare and a $15 minimum wage and tuition-free colleges, public universities. It's just the bros, right? We don't exist. People like me don't exist. Now, of course, that's false, and I'll get into that a little bit later. But first, let's show this clip of Casey Hunt on MSNBC once again lying.
I think, one of the things that's interesting to me shaping up here is this is clearly a fight to be the alternative to Bernie Sanders, right? If you've got Bernie Sanders kind of sailing through Iowa looking to do well here, it's which of these three, Biden, Buttigieg, Klobuchar, can consolidate the rest of this field, if it's possible at all. Does this essentially pave the way, this infighting, for Buttigieg to be that alternative, leaving the Democratic Party with two candidates who have shown no ability to appeal to people of color?
That is a problem.
So it's just funny to me that MSNBC is still able to perpetuate this idea that Bernie Sanders' base of support is not diverse. The idea that he can't appeal to non-white voters is just not true, okay? And here's Steve Kornacki, who's been doing some good work on MSNBC, on the same network that just said what they said, debunking that myth. Let's play that clip.
How are those senators / 2020 hopefuls who are stuck on jury duty, faring in the presidential race? It's Kornacki time. Hey, Steve. So, the jurors, how big of a problem is this?
This is like a great political science experiment about the importance of in-person campaigning. They're off the trail, right, and they still win. Maybe you don't need to campaign. We'll find out, I guess. But look, as you say, four candidates who are stuck in the Senate chamber for much of the home stretch here, heading into the critical Iowa caucuses. We have a look at some new polls. In the last 24 hours, a bunch of new polls come out here. A national poll from Monmouth yesterday. They find something we've been seeing for a while now. Biden clearly in the lead in this poll. Sanders clearly in second. Warren in third, clearly behind him. By the way, Bloomberg, with all that money spent outside the first four states, getting to 9% here. But check this out. The other national poll to come out yesterday from CNN, first time you've seen that in a long time. Yeah. Bernie Sanders in the lead nationally. What's the difference between what you found in the CNN poll that has Sanders ahead? Non-white voters. In this poll, this CNN poll, he leads Biden by 3 points among non-white voters. I don't know which of those polls is right, but if Sanders is going to win the nomination, that's where he's got to build support. You see in that poll what happens when he does. By the way, the other new poll this morning, I don't know how it skipped this. I must have hit this with the outside of my hand or something. Sanders up 12 this morning in a new New Hampshire poll, a WBUR poll right there. Again, remember, the name of the game for Sanders and for all these candidates is to try to get that 1-2 punch. Iowa, roll it into New Hampshire. A couple things to keep in mind, by the way, the gaps we're seeing here nationally, the coalitions, this from the Monmouth poll yesterday, Sanders leading among liberals. Biden, obviously, among moderate, Sanders dropping. And you see, by the way, Warren, that's the real drop-off. Sanders has a pulse with moderate voters. Warren, not so much.
So, on the one hand, you have Casey Hunt saying that Bernie Sanders is equivalent to Pete Buttigieg in his inability to rally non-white support without evidence. And on the other hand, you have Steve Kornacki here saying that Bernie Sanders leads Joe Biden by 3 points in non-white support with evidence in the form of a poll. Who am I going to believe? I think I'm going to stick to the numbers on this one. The idea that Bernie Sanders, who is polling strongly with non-white voters, and Pete Buttigieg, who's polling in some polls 0% among black voters, are equivalent is just a load of baloney. It's malarkey, as Joe Biden would say. And the fact that you have this juxtaposition of Casey Hunt just spewing this retired, old, factually not true myth that Bernie Sanders doesn't have non-white support, and Steve Kornacki on the same exact network giving you evidence that the Bernie bro myth is not real is astounding to me. I think this just solidifies the idea that these people are on television not to give you information. They want to spread whatever narrative it is that they have. They don't want you to believe that Bernie Sanders has diversity and support. And it all goes back to this, this idea that everyone on MSNBC is raking in millions upon millions of dollars, and their taxes will go up. If Bernie Sanders is president, their taxes are going to go up. And they don't want that. They don't want that. The 1% want to keep on getting richer while everyone else, the 99% of us, struggle to put food on our plates. That's just not fair. And to erase the support, my support, people like me, people the same color as me who support Bernie Sanders, who want a better life, to erase all of that, it's just disgusting.